Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed. We take the stack of sources you've shared, pull out the key knowledge, and help you make sense of it all.
Cutting through the noise, as you say.
Exactly. Today, we're looking at a really fascinating ancient Buddhist text, the Māghasutta. Our source is excerpts from 5Māghasutta.md. And our mission for you, listening in, is to unpack this pretty deep conversation. It's between Māgha, who's this wealthy, very generous guy, and the Buddha himself.
And it digs into generosity, merit, what makes an offering perfect.
Right. We're hoping to find some insights into ethical giving, maybe spiritual practice too, that still feel relevant, even now.
It's a text that really reveals the layers, I think, challenges some common ideas about generosity.
Okay, let's dive in then. So the scene is set on Vulture Peak Mountain in Rajagaha, classic location.
Indeed.
And Māgha, this prominent householder, meets the Buddha, who's called Bhagava or Gautama here.
And Māgha introduces himself, doesn't he? It's quite a description.
It really is.
Yeah.
He says he's a Dayako Dhanapati Vadanyu Yakayogo, which basically means, well, a generous giver, a master of generosity, charitable.
And someone beggars just naturally come to. He's known for it.
Yeah. And he stresses he gets his wealth righteously. Damena boge periyasami.
That's important. Ethically sourced wealth.
Definitely. And then he describes his giving food and drink, distributing it widely, not just to 1 or 2 people, but maybe up to 100, even more. Massive scale.
Huge scale.
So after laying all that out, he asks the Buddha, point blank, does all this giving, this sacrificing, generate bapuninya? Much merit.
And merit here, it's not just like cosmic brownie points, right? It's more about spiritual energy, purifying the mind, leading to good results, maybe even helping towards liberation.
Exactly. And the Buddha's response, straight away, he says, yes, Māgha, such giving produces much merit.
Affirmed, clearly.
Okay, so Māgha's already doing great things, right? Giving so much, earning merit. We'd probably call him a major philanthropist today.
Absolutely. He's checking all the boxes, you might think.
But then, he doesn't stop there, does he? Why do you think he feels the need to ask more after getting such a clear yes?
Yeah.
What's he looking for beyond just much merit?
Well, that's where it gets really interesting. I think Māgha maybe senses intuitively that while quantity is good, maybe there's a deeper quality, a further dimension he hasn't quite grasped yet.
Ah, okay.
That initial yes is like the foundation, but his next questions show he's thinking, okay, but how can this be better, more purified? He's asking essentially, is all this giving equal in its ultimate impact?
Right, and that leads directly to his follow-up question, which really shifts everything. In verse 487, he asks where an offering given by a sacrificer, suche, becomes purified or perfected.
Exactly. And he explicitly asks, who are the dakiai, the ones truly worthy of offerings?
The Buddha gives a kind of general answer first, doesn't he? Something like, you should please or approach those worthy of offerings.
Quite general.
But Māgha, well, he pushes back a bit. He wants specifics. In verse 489, he asks basically, tell me straight, Bhagava, who are these people worthy of offerings?
He wants the details.
So it's not just about giving a lot anymore. It's about where that giving lands, where it gets purified. Why is that distinction so critical in this context?
Because this is where the Buddha starts to challenge that purely, let's say, transactional view of giving. Give X, get Y merit.
Okay.
He's about to show that the nature of the person receiving the gift profoundly affects the offering's efficacy, its purification. It's about finding recipients who can, in a sense, maximize the spiritual impact of the gift, not just materially, but for the giver's own progress too.
So the focus shifts to the recipient. And the Buddha's answer about who these worthy people are, it's incredibly detailed. It goes way beyond just, social status or need, right? It's all about their inner spiritual state.
Absolutely. It's not about their wealth or position at all. It's entirely about their internal qualities, their level of spiritual attainment.
So what kinds of qualities is he describing?
Well, he paints a picture of people who are truly free. Think of individuals who are asatavikaranti loke akinyakana kevalino yatata, unattached, owning nothing, complete, self-controlled. They wander the world without clinging.
Wow.
He talks about those who've cut all fetters, all bonds. Sabasayojana bandhanachira. They're restrained, liberated, without sorrow, without desire.
So really advanced practitioners.
Very much so. People who've abandoned lust, hatred, and delusion. Their defilements are destroyed. Kisava, they've completed the holy life, Vusita Brahmakarya.
No deceit, no conceit.
Exactly. Free from greed, possessiveness, desire, vitaloba amama nirasa. They haven't fallen into craving. They've crossed the flood of existence.
That's powerful imagery.
It is. They wander without owning anything, amakaranti. Craving just doesn't exist for them anywhere for any kind of existence, here or in the future.
They've given up sensual pleasures, live houseless, like monks or renunciates.
Often, yes. Well-controlled, straight like an arrow, free from passion, senses well-composed like the moon freed from an eclipse.
Calm, no anger.
Yes, samita vino vitaraga akopa. Their path is complete. They're not bound to this world or any other. They've abandoned birth and death completely, overcome all doubt.
They sound like islands unto themselves.
That's exactly one of the descriptions. Ye atadipa vikaranti loke akinyakana sabadi vipamutta. Those who wander as islands unto themselves, owning nothing, completely liberated.
And they truly know, this is my last birth, there's no more becoming.
That deep realization. And the final verse, 503, mentions the one who has mastered knowledge, loves meditation, is mindful, attained awakening, a refuge for many. This could even point to the Buddha himself or any fully awakened being.
So these are incredibly high standards. It really feels like the Buddha is saying the internal spiritual state of the recipient is absolutely paramount. Well, it challenges how we often think about charity today, doesn't it? It's not just about need.
It's a radical reframing, absolutely. It shifts the focus away from, say, public display or even just alleviating material suffering, though that's important too, towards the spiritual purity and liberation of the recipient.
Why? What's the thinking there?
The idea seems to be that giving to someone who has achieved such profound inner freedom, someone embodying wisdom and compassion, it somehow amplifies the positive energy of the gift. It makes the offering itself purified. Their enlightened state almost elevates the act of giving.
So the recipient's state transforms the offering.
In a way, yes. It makes you really think about who you're supporting, doesn't it? Not just their need, but maybe their potential to use that support for deeper spiritual growth, which in turn benefits the giver's own path. It adds a layer of spiritual alchemy.
Okay, so Māgha understands who the ideal recipients are, but then he asks another crucial question, doesn't he? In verse 505.
He does. Having grasped the who, he now asks about the how. He asks the Buddha to explain Yanya Sampade, the perfection of the sacrifice itself.
So it's not just the recipient anymore. This feels like another big aha moment. Now it's about the giver's state of mind, their intention.
Precisely. This is the other absolutely critical piece. The Buddha's answer in the next verses, 506 and 507, pivots to the giver's internal world.
What does he say?
He tells Māgha, sacrifice, by clarifying your mind everywhere. Sabata vipasadehi citta. The offering itself is described as a support for the giver to abandon defilement, jahati doset.
So the act of giving helps purify the giver too.
Yes, directly. He advises the giver to become vitarago, free from passion, and to eliminate defilements. And crucially, to cultivate māghasutta vavaya apamatter.
Boundless loving kindness.
Yeah, exactly. Boundless loving kindness in the mind, developing it diligently, day and night, letting it radiate out in all directions.
So the giving itself becomes a spiritual practice.
That's it, perfectly. The perfection of sacrifice isn't about how big the feast is or the exact ritual details. It's about the purity of the giver's heart, the cultivation of these virtues like limitless goodwill. Internal transformation is the key to making the merit truly profound.
Okay, so it's circling back to generosity, but with all these added layers. The recipient matters immensely, and the giver's inner state, their intention, their cultivation of loving kindness matters just as much.
It's a holistic view.
So Māgha seems to be getting the full picture now. He's learned who to give to and how to give. What's his final question aiming at? Is it about the ultimate goal?
It seems so. It ties everything together. In verse 508, Māgha asks essentially, who gets purified? Who gets liberated? And by what self, or maybe how, does one go to the Brahma world?
The Brahma world,
Yeah.
like a high heavenly realm.
Yes, a very high luminous state of existence in Buddhist cosmology, associated with great virtue and meditative attainment. He asks how one attains this Brahmaloka Jutima, this radiant Brahma world, and he shows deep respect, calling the Buddha Brahma Samo, equal to Brahma, and a witness of Brahma. He's asking, how do I reach the highest goal through this practice?
And the Buddha's final answer brings it all together.
Yeah.
It connects the sacrifice, the recipient, and the goal.
Exactly. Verse 509 is the synthesis. The Buddha says, he who sacrifices with the threefold perfection of sacrifice and approaches those worthy of offerings. Having sacrificed thus correctly, that giver goes to the Brahma world, I declare.
The threefold perfection. What is that referring to?
It seems to encompass everything they've just discussed: the pure intention and clarified mind of the giver, the active cultivation of boundless loving kindness, and the careful selection of those truly worthy recipients, the spiritually liberated ones.
So it's the combination.
It's the combination. It's not a simple formula, give X, get Y, heaven.
Yeah.
It's about aligning your actions, your heart, your wisdom, transforming the very act of giving into a powerful part of your spiritual path.
And Māgha gets it.
He does. The sutta ends with him declaring himself a follower, taking refuge in the Buddha. Right then and there, he found the answers he was seeking.
Wow. So, recapping the core message of the Māghasutta.
Yeah.
Yes, generosity creates merit, definitely.
Yeah.
But the really profound purification, the deep spiritual benefit that depends critically on both sides.
Right. The qualities of the recipient, their inner freedom, their spiritual attainment.
And just as importantly, the internal state of the giver, their pure intention, their freedom from passion, and especially that boundless loving kindness they cultivate.
It moves charity from maybe just a duty or a transaction to a profound act of spiritual development.
Sure.
For everyone involved, potentially.
It really does reshape things.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, our listener, to maybe mull over.
Mm-hmm.
In our world today, we often measure generosity by, quantity, how much money, how many items donated, or by public recognition, maybe the tax benefit.
Yeah, the metrics are often external.
So what might these ancient ideas from the Māghasutta suggest? How could we maybe redefine what effective or meaningful giving looks like?
That's a great question.
What if we focused more on the giver's inner state while giving? Or on the potential for true spiritual impact, liberation even, for the recipient, not just material aid? How might that shift how we think about charity, philanthropy, even just small acts of kindness today? What does true merit mean to you?
Lots to think about there.
Definitely. Well, that's all for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. We hope you feel a little more well-informed